It's the end of summer and the beginning of the fall season here in the Pacific Northwest, and the kids are back in school, and so my wife and I are thinking about trading in our Mercedes GL on one of the new sport utilities. And of course, since I manage at both Honda of Seattle and Toyota of Seattle, the two that come most immediately to mind are the two best that there are available in the entire automobile industry, the Honda Pilot and the Toyota Highlander. But sadly, I can only pick one, and I like both quite a lot. And so I was trying to explain to my wife the virtues of 280 horsepower versus 270 horsepower and available 9-speed automatic from ZF of Germany and all that stuff's so cool. And my wife says, you know, it's funny, when you tell me all the specs to all these cars, it absolutely bores me to tears. What you should do is a video that just shows one car versus another car, and then just pick one. Which one would you choose if it was your money, because it's going to be your money and you're going to pick one. Which is the one that you would choose for our family, typical family, like a lot of families, 2 adults and 3 kids, and which one makes more sense knowing the kind of stuff that we use our truck for. And so I'm going to pop the hood on the XLE V6 engine. I have to point out that it's a V6 because the Highlander comes in both 4-cylinder and V6, whereas the Pilot only comes in a V6. And let's take a look underneath the hood. Now, again, I'm not here to bore you with statistics, although the Toyota has modestly less horsepower. It's 0 to 60 times in its actual driving performance, and going up and down the hills here in downtown Seattle and getting stuck in traffic and trying to get ahead of a bus as you're getting onto the freeway at full throttle. They're really actually about identical to one another. So if performance is something that's just critical to you, there really is actually no difference between the two. But one thing you know right off the get-go with Toyota, for the first 2 years or 25,000 miles, your services, they're free from Toyota. So check goes to Toyota on that one, even though it has 10 less horsepower. Coming over to Honda, well, more horsepower is never a bad thing. And yes, they do have an available 9-speed ZF of Germany transmission, which is the best transmission company in the whole wide world. But one thing, no matter if you get the 6-speed automatic transmission, like this EXL model has, or the 9-speed, gas mileage in the real world is about 2 miles per gallon better in the Honda than it is in the Toyota. So as far as economy and frugality, checkbox goes to Honda, definitely. 2 miles per the gallon might not sound like a lot, but over the life of ownership of the car, it's going to save you a whole lot more money than a few oil changes is ever going to save you. Now, taking a look at both, well, they're both really nice looking. The Honda is all new for 2016. The Highlander is all new for 2015. They're both based on cars. And so formerly, the Pilot was a body on frame, so it was a truck. But now it's much more, think Honda Accord, and then Toyota Highlander, think Toyota Camry. And so if you don't like driving trucks per se, you're really not driving a truck. You're driving more of a tall car that has the versatility of actually both have really nice 4-wheel drive systems. And so if you like to do a little bit of light off-road or some heavy skiing, your family likes to go up to Whistler if you live up here in the Pacific Northwest, or Heavenly if you live in the Bay Area and you like to go up to the Sierra Nevadas, whatever it is that you like to do, this will definitely do it, and it'll do it with a lot of panache. Interior-wise, if you've seen any of my reviews on the Pilot, especially in the upper trim levels, the first thing that crosses my mind is Audi Q7. I really like how posh these interiors are. They're not like anything that's come from Honda before, and that's definitely a step in the right direction. Price-wise, this is $1,000 less than the Toyota is. This is $38,500 at the MSRP level, where the Toyota is $39,500. We're a one-price store, just so you know. Honda of Seattle and Toyota of Seattle are completely one price. And some other markets, like the big Toyota dealership in the Oakland Bay area, you've got a big First Texas Honda dealership in Austin, Texas. These big new stores, they're all going one price. And one price means there's no closers, there's no finance managers. It's like buying a TV at Best Buy or something. You just buy it and go pick it up, and then you're done. And there's no other stuff. And so no one tries to get you to put chemicals on the car. There's no finance office after you buy the car. You just buy the car and you're done. So sometimes when there's divergent prices on similar merchandise, it actually kind of filters itself down. Actually, both of these are about $1,200 off of MSRP, and so they're still about a $1,000 price advantage to the Honda over the Toyota. But again, you do get those free oil change, which mitigates some of that, especially if you're leasing and only planning on keeping the car for 3 years. Interior-wise, though, checkbox I think is going to go to the Honda. We'll take a look at the Toyota, but I'm awfully impressed with what's going on with the new Honda. Back seat, well, when they try and squeeze 3 rows into a car that's formerly a car, you just know that you're going to be compromised somewhere. Either the middle seat's going to be really small or the third row seat's going to be really small. That's just how it is. In the Pilot, one of the nice things is that the middle seat is actually super duper spacious. You also have what's called theater seating, and so theater seating is where you sit higher in the second row seat than you do in the front 2 seats, and so your visibility actually from the middle row seat is quite impressive. You actually feel like you're sitting up front. And so for young kids who like to be included in what's going on, like my young kids who like to be included in everything that's going on, they feel a lot more part of what's happening. And so the seating configuration works really well. But let's talk about the most important thing, and that's for a family of 3, you need to know what's going on in the third row seat. So this button right here, just a single button, allows you access into that third row seat. And you know it's going to be tiny, but you know what? It's not tiny at all. In fact, it's so spacious in the third row seat that I have to reach forward with my knees to touch the row in front of me. And that's with all that abundant space, me sitting at 6 feet tall, 175 pounds comfortably in the front, me at 6 foot 175 comfortably in the middle, and me at 6 foot 175 comfortably in the back. Huge third row seat for such a small overall sport utility. Now, trunk space, this has kind of a faux 60-40 split. It's more of a 50-50 split with just a little bit of bias here. But I can put either one side or the other down. And it's got 2 things going for it. It has a storage compartment underneath the floorboard here and real-world Costco space. I've got my big 130-pound 11-year-old super comfortable back here. I've got my 2 other kids in the middle row seat, my wife and I up in front, and we've got Costco, dry cleaning, everything. We're hooked up. This is a nice setup for us. This would work just fine. Now, as we take a look over at the Toyota, the first thing I like about the Toyota is I like the way it looks. The second thing about it is I like the way that it drives. It reminds me of a cross between like a Camry and a 4Runner. I like Camrys, I love 4Runners, and so a combination of those 2 elements is a pretty darn good combination. And so this car's got a little bit more attitude, a little bit more personality, I think, than the Honda does. The Honda is like going out to dinner nice. This is like going to a party nice, going off-road, going to a beach party, doing something fun. That's what this car speaks to me a little bit more. One other neat thing is that the way that they have these extra heavy-duty floor deals is that they extend all the way out. So sometimes when you get these hard floor covers, you have to take them out of the car in order to use the third row seat. Not the case at all in the Toyota. It's actually integrated into the design. I can't believe that everybody doesn't do this, to be honest with you. That's actually should be standard on every third row seat vehicle that there is. But the space behind the seat, although in cubic feet may be similar between the Honda and between the Toyota, it's actually smaller in the Toyota. And so that same feeling where do I have Costco and dry cleaning and all these niceties going on with the whole family in here? No, it's not that spacious. In fact, it's significantly more snug, especially if I've got my 11-year-old back here who I know is going to be super duper cramped, and then he's going to be stuffed with all this stuff surrounding him, and I still don't even know where I'm putting my dry cleaning. And so a bit small, honestly, and that could be a problem. Let's jump in front. Now, I love the layout of the Toyota. I just love it. I love the nice organic lines of the dash. I like the second tier up here. I love the audio unit, the navigation unit. It's got more storage. It just looks cool. It feels cool. It's nice. And it feels a little bit more cockpity, a little bit more sports car-y or true sports utility vehicle. Again, like a 4Runner. It feels sturdier and just like you could abuse it a little bit more, like it's more rough and tumble. It's just a lot of personality distinctions between the Toyota and the Honda that I like, and I like biased towards the Toyota, to be honest with you. Like, I know my wife would be utterly thrilled with the Honda, but I think I personally might be a little bit happier in the Toyota. I'm going to jump in the middle row seat and see how that space works out. Again, the cars that these sport utilities are based off of are fairly similar in size. So you would imagine that their interiors are going to be fairly similar in size here as well. This feels great. The second row, super duper comfortable. And again, it's got even a better variation of that theater seating that I like so much in the Honda. I like it even more in the Toyota because my visibility is really superb from this middle row seat. So we have kind of a crummy day going on here. You know, lots of traffic, lots of noise, lots of stuff. But I feel nice in here. I feel relaxed. I feel comfortable. This is great. Really, really nice. Now, let's jump in back into the third row seat. The other thing that's nice about the Toyota is that for your $1,000 more that you're spending, you also get running boards, and it makes it easier to get in and out. Not that you couldn't get them in the Honda, but here's going to be the major problem right here. It's so small that I can't even get the seat up. And so, yes, I can have this in a closer area up here, but let me tell you something. I am so uncomfortable, it's unbelievable. And so, sadly, this is going to be an easy decision for me because I just have to have a third row seat. There's no other way to say it. This has a third row seat, but I just don't know who's going to use it. My 7-year-old might be able to get comfortable back there. He's not the biggest kid in the world, but he might be comfortable back there for about another 6 months, and he's going to outgrow that. My little one's too little to put all the way back in the third row seat, so that's not going to work. And so for a family of 3 that needs to use the third row seat, sadly, it's a no-brainer. I love the Toyota. I love the way it looks. I love the way it drives. I like its off-road character. I like its rugged character. But I have to have a third row seat, and the third row seat is utterly gigantic in the Honda. Space is definitely to the advantage of the Honda. There's a lot of nice things that are great about both. I do like the kind of gourmet interior. It's not like it's some terrible sacrifice taking the Honda over the Toyota, because the interior is really lovely inside of the Honda. But that space, there's just no close runner-up. You have to have it. There's no other alternative, and the Honda definitely has it. So if I had to pick one between the two, it would be definitely the Honda in my case. If I was single or only had 1 or 2 kids, I would definitely run for the Toyota. 3 kids, third row seat, it's got to be the Honda. If you have any questions about the Honda Pilot, about the Toyota Highlander, or anything here at Honda or Toyota of Seattle, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. My name's Joe Tunney. I'm the pre-owned director at both Honda of Seattle and Toyota of Seattle. You can reach out to me anytime at joet@hondaofseattle.com.